The holidays are here and we are making it the cheesiest ever. Like, in a good way cheesy, not in a bad way cheesy. It's gonna be a really good cheesy holiday because today I am showing you the very best of a cheese board. Let's get to it. Hi everyone, I'm Erin, the founder and chief sommelier at the Wine Sisters. Welcome to our YouTube channel. This is the place where every single week we show you how to eat, drink, and entertain like a pro. You might notice that I'm in a slightly different setting today. That's because I'm at my sister's house, and in fact, I'm being assisted by my beautiful niece, who you may have heard of before when you've checked out other videos, right, Sienna?
Hey!
Yeah, so it's a team effort. Today we're doing the very first of a whole stream of holiday parties, so I'm here as we get organized on how to put up a cheese board. If you are returning, it's so great to see you again. Thank you for coming back to the channel. And if you are new here, perhaps you'll consider subscribing so you can join us every single week because we do have a ton of fun. All right, so what are we doing for this holiday video? Well, we are talking about the cheesiest of cheese boards, and that's going to be the best parts, those Camemberts, those Bries, those triple cremes. Now, I know that probably you have somebody in your circle who's going to be a blue cheese loyalist. You have a cheddar addict. But for the most part, in the 15 years that the Wine Sisters has been running and throwing parties for clients, as well as my own personal parties, I'm going to say that on any cheese board, the thing that goes the quickest are those runny, soft triple creme cheeses. So today, we're doubling down. We're going to make a cheese board of everyone's favorites, but bougie them up just a little bit. So what am I talking about? We're going to be making a beautiful Chevre with a Putanesca-inspired olive oil topping. We're making a paillote that we are going to flambe and brulee. Oh yeah, we're playing with fire. And we're gonna do everyone's favorite, a baked camembert, but we're loading ours down with garlic and wild mushroom and rosemary. It's going to be a great Christmas cheese board. So let's get to it right away, shall we? First things first, we're going to be talking about our Chevre with this Putanesca-inspired sauce. Now this is actually dead easy, but we do want to give it enough time to warm up. So I've had my Chevre that's been setting out at room temperature. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a rimmed plate, and I'm just going to be making a pancake out of it. And you know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna remove my rings because, you know, I don't want to be yucky about it. Remind me when I freak out, Sienna, that I've put my rings there. So all we're going to do is we have this really, you can see how soft it is, this room temperature Chevre. Admittedly, not the most attractive thing right now, but it will get much more attractive in a second. So this has now come up to room temperature, our little Chevre, our goat cheese log. And like I said, clean hands are integral. We're just going to pat this out into a pancake. See that? See how it's a nice flat pancake? I'm just going to put that off to the side while we make our Putanesca inspired olive oil topping. So into a little saucepan, I'm going to put in some olive oil. I'm gonna make more than what I'll need because you can use this topping for pastas, for salads. You can keep it in the fridge and use it for future cheese boards. I'm gonna use about a third of a cup, maybe almost half a cup of olive oil, and that's going to go into the pot. I'm also going to put in a garlic clove. I'm not going to dice it up. I'm just going to let it season the oil nicely. We're gonna put this over low heat, and this garlic clove will infuse the olive oil, but we'll eventually take it out. What I'm also going to do now, this is where we get all of those beautiful briny, tangy flavors. Just from some store-bought, I have some really lovely, just standard, whoopsie, green olives. I'm gonna put in a couple tablespoons of that. I really like it nice and tangy and briny. And if you know what Putanesca sauce is, now normally when you have that Putanesca pasta, and by the way, there's a recipe for the Putanesca pasta on thewinesisters.com. I'll link to it below. I'm also going to use some sliced Kalamata olives. It gives it that really nice briny note. Putanesca sauce does have all of these olives. It has capers, it has garlic, it often has anchovies. I'm not using anchovies to top the cheese because I think that's a little bit weird, but I am gonna like capitalize on all these beautiful briny flavors. I'm also gonna put in a couple of hot peppers. These are the Calabrian hot peppers that have been done in olive oil. So these are these Calabrese. I don't want to make it overly spicy. I don't want to blow my guests' heads off, but just a nice little spice. So you can see here how this is getting really beautiful tangy. We have the olive oil, we have the green and black olives, we have that nice garlic, we have the hot peppers, and I'm also going to add in some really nice fresh rosemary, just for a little bit of that uplift and that herbal note, just to cut through a little bit of that brine and that garlicky note. So that's all going to go in there. I'm going to put it over a very low heat, let it all simmer together. It can sit there for 10 minutes if you're in a hurry, but you can let it sit for an hour while you putz around getting ready for the rest of your party. But this will eventually be my topping for my Chevre. Okay, so next up, we're gonna take everyone's favorite, this amazing Camembert, but we're gonna bougie it up just a little bit. So first, I'm going to cut a crosshatch pattern into the top. And now I'm gonna take some finely sliced garlic, and I'm just going to put it into those cuts, just a little bit. Okay, so you can see here that we've got the dotted garlic just sort of studding through the Camembert. Clearly, when you are at a holiday party, Christmas, New Year's, whatever, you don't want to have that really raw garlic taste. So this is just going to meld into the cheese. It's going to get really soft, it's going to get really sweet, it's going to get really fragrant, which is better than having that raw garlic note because, you know, you might want to snuggle with somebody under the mistletoe. So I'll put that off to the side and we're going to make our wild mushroom topping for it. So here I've got a mixture of different mushrooms. Most of it is going to be these black oyster mushrooms, just a really nice, you know, just give it a little bit of fanciness. And into our pan, I'm going to put in some more olive oil, just a little bit, or a lot, you know, it's Christmas. I've also diced up quite a bit of this garlic, but again, we're gonna cook it off, so it's gonna be nice and sweet and fragrant. That's going to go right in. And we're also going to take our mushrooms. Look how cute they are, but of course they're really going to come down in size. So I'm just gonna chop them up a little bit, tear them apart. They're going to decrease obviously as they cook and saute on the oven, or on the stovetop rather. Just get off those garlic cloves. We're also going to double down on our rosemary, and I'm gonna put in a little rosemary sprig as well and let these all saute and infuse together. And then when our Camembert comes out of the oven, we will top our Camembert with this beautiful saute. Do you like rosemary? It smells good. It smells great. It smells very Christmassy. It's piney, but in the best possible way, like a good gin. Okay, so our goat cheese log is coming up to room temperature. Our Putanesca topping is starting to infuse on the stove. It's smelling really great. We have our wild mushrooms for our Camembert sauteing, and now we're on to our third cheese. And this is the easiest, but perhaps the most dramatic, because we're gonna be playing with fire, if I can do it. But before we get to the firing part, I want to show you, this is actually another type of goat cheese. This is called Putanesca-style. And you know of this, it's sold really commonly in many of the grocery stores where I live, so probably it's very easy to find where you live. You can tell because it has this rind, this edible white rind. It's often supported by little sticks because as it comes to room temperature, you can see that it starts to get very soft. The outer portion becomes almost translucent and the inner portion stays very opaque. So I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. I learned this from a Chef Kyle McClure, giving shout outs proper due. And all we do, just to give it a little bit more of a depth of flavor, is we start to brulee it. Now check this out, this is really cool. What we're going to do is we're literally bruleeing. Can you see that? Can you hear it? But look how great that looks. So all we're doing is we're just simply bruleeing it. And so what that does is it just gives it another little element of interest. It gives it that nice little char, it gives it a nice little smokiness, and it really just makes it come alive. And you can smell that, right? It smells really, really good. So if you want to, you can serve this completely on its own, or if you wanted to put like a little compote, like a blueberry or a fig, feel free to do that. I like it just as on its own. So I'm gonna put that on a plate, and then we're going to be putting it all together. So my sister also made this really amazing loaf of bread. Clearly you don't have to be that extra. If you don't want to be, you can buy your own ciabatta or baguette or whatever tickles your fancy, because we all like having our fancy tickled. But we're gonna chop up that bread and have it with some of this beautiful, check this out, our Putanesca inspired goat cheese log, got our brulee Chevre, and the piece de resistance, we have our Camembert. You wanna see how great this looks? Because I do. Money shot. Look at this. Look how buoyant it is, Sienna. Look how bouncy. Look at this. Oh yeah. It's cheesy, it's garlicky, it's fragrant, it's mushroomy. It's really good. It's really good. Now I have to talk with my mouth full. Oh wow. This is the very best part of a cheese board. We've got all of the good stuff that people love. You know as well as I do that those Bries, those Camemberts, people race through them. So why not give the people you love the most the cheese they love the most this holiday? That's how you can show you care. I'm drooling, this is so good. My name's Erin, I'm the founder and chief sommelier here at the Wine Sisters. You pour a little bit of Brut Bubbly with this and you're going to have a fine holiday indeed. Don't forget guys, please leave us a question or comment below. I promise I will respond as soon as I see them. Do make sure that you subscribe if you haven't yet. And you might even want to consider hitting that bell so you can be alerted when we drop a new video every single week. All the links to all the recipes, it's on thewinesisters.com. I've put them in the show notes below, as well as that link for our newsletter. Sign up and I will see you here next week. Until then, stay well, drink better.
Bye.